What if the trophies from your past came alive to kill you? Renshaw never expected it. But when toy soldiers turned into assassins, survival became the deadliest game. Stick around and subscribe, because the final twist will shock you. These weren't ordinary toys. They were miniature soldiers brought to life, locked in battle against a seasoned hitman. Though the assassin towered over them 1,000 times in size, he was the one being overpowered. His name was Renshaw. On a past assignment, he executed a toy company CEO named Morris and casually pocketed one small object from the scene. Worn out, he finally returned home. He placed a music box inside his trophy cabinet, which was already filled with mementos from his past kills. It was clear he had never once failed. Collapsing onto the couch, Renshaw drifted quickly into sleep, but a sudden, harsh ring at the door jolted him awake. When he opened it, no one was there. Only a parcel lay on the ground. He carried it inside and set it down on the table. The package bore his name and address, stamped with a disturbing cartoon face. By instinct, he carefully unwrapped it. Inside, he found rows of toy soldiers neatly stored in a G.I. Joe-style footlocker. They looked harmless, so he thought nothing of it and walked away. But then a sound came from the kitchen. The case had toppled, scattering the figures across the floor. Renshaw cautiously scanned the area, but noticed nothing unusual. When he turned back, the soldiers had vanished. Something didn't feel right. Suddenly, the curtains in the distance shifted. He rushed over, but nothing was there. Then, the desk lamp flickered and went dark. Examining it, he realized the cord had been severed. Another lamp went out. As he leaned closer, something stabbed into his foot. He yanked it out. It was a tiny bayonet, razor sharp. Before he could recover, he was hit by a surprise strike. A miniature rocket slammed into his knee. Luckily, Renshaw reacted quickly, dodging the incoming shots. He darted into the bathroom, using a mirror to peek back into the living room. Gunfire erupted again. Light bulbs shattered everywhere. Another missile blew a lamp to pieces. Renshaw's fury boiled. Then one more rocket smashed into the mirror, spraying shards of glass deep into his skin. He'd had enough. Pulling a pistol from under the bed, he stormed the living room, dodging another rocket that tore into the wall. Calm and composed, he moved into the kitchen, grabbed a machine gun, and sprayed bullets across the couch. He ripped the cushions apart and fired again, but when he looked underneath, he froze. It was the same toy soldiers from the box, regrouping, preparing another assault. One soldier leapt forward to strike. Renshaw crushed him underfoot. Another tried to escape, but he didn't last either. The rest opened fire in retaliation. Renshaw gunned them down within moments. Suddenly, 3 miniature helicopters rose from beneath the table. They locked onto Renshaw and launched an air raid. After a barrage of bullets, they charged in closer. A strike knocked the pistol from his grip. He quickly snatched it back and managed to shoot one down. Bleeding and desperate, Renshaw stumbled back into the bathroom. He bandaged his wound as fast as he could. Suddenly, the bathroom door burst open with a thunderous crack. A helicopter flew in through the gap. Grabbing a towel, he trapped it, slammed it to the ground, and crushed it underfoot. But then another rocket blasted into the bathroom. He raised his pistol, firing at the last chopper. It swerved and retreated. Spotting the soldier squirming in the towel, Renshaw tossed the bundle into the toilet. He shoved the towel into the splintered doorway to block it, but the soldiers inside the toilet were still twitching, so he dropped in an electric hair dryer. Once certain they were fried, he sat back unnerved. He grabbed a can of bug spray and tucked it into his pocket. At that moment, a note slid under the door, demanding his surrender. He refused. Renshaw scribbled, "Screw you" on it and shoved it back. Then he pulled the towel from the door. Instantly, a cannon blast ripped the door apart. Renshaw bolted through the window. Carefully, he crept into another room to find the helicopter circling back. A missile clipped his head. Wounded again, he fired back without hesitation. His bullet struck, sending the chopper crashing down. He crawled into another room where toy soldiers shouted encouragement at one another. Spotting a fire extinguisher and a toy duck sparked an idea. Using the duck's sound, he lured them toward the pool. As they advanced, Renshaw circled behind. He blasted the extinguisher, choking them in thick smoke. But another squad stormed in with an armored vehicle. They charged full force at him. Under fire, he lit the bug spray with a lighter. A stream of flames roared out, incinerating both the soldiers and the vehicle. He lit the spray again. 3 more soldiers burned instantly under the firestorm. Smoke blinded the artillery crew. Renshaw seized the chance and smashed them with the box. After a brutal fight, he wiped out the remaining troops. He double-checked their numbers. Once certain, he destroyed the last of them. Finally, Renshaw exhaled in relief. His body battered and torn, he dragged himself into the pool to recover. Suddenly, his wrist was slashed. He scrambled out of the water. Blood poured from a deep cut across his arm. Gritting his teeth, he bounded the wound. Deciding to seek medical help, he headed for the hospital. But as soon as he entered the elevator, he heard noises above. The elevator lurched and went dark. In total blackness, a shadow dropped from the ceiling, a sharp blade cut into his foot. In the flickering light, he saw his attacker, a soldier styled like Rambo. Rambo slipped out through the hatch. Renshaw gritted his teeth and climbed after him, but Rambo struck again. His foot was sliced badly. Standing above, he sharpened his blade, glaring down like a predator stalking prey. Just then, another elevator descended. Renshaw seized the moment, rolled onto its roof, and dropped inside. By now, he was completely drained. Wounded all over, he could barely move. Suddenly, Rambo appeared once again. He drove a dagger into Renshaw's chest. Summoning the last of his strength, Renshaw shoved him away. Barely conscious, he collapsed as the door slid open. Believing victory was his, Rambo stepped closer, gun raised. But before he could fire, Renshaw struck him down. He shoved him into the elevator's doorway. As the doors closed, Rambo fought to hold them back. But the machinery's force was too strong. The doors slammed shut, crushing him instantly. Renshaw thought the nightmare was over, but when he opened Rambo's backpack, he discovered a miniature nuclear bomb already counting down. The timer hit 0. A massive explosion consumed the elevator, and Renshaw with it. What he never realized was that the toy box label read, "Special Commando Set. Includes nuclear bomb." Nearby, a fairy figurine began to spin slowly on its own, hinting that something supernatural was still at play. Renshaw thought the battle was over, but the toy soldiers had one final secret. What would you have done against an army that small yet that deadly? Share your thoughts below and subscribe, because the next story may strike even harder.